Welcome back, y'all. Let me get back to the conferences and stuff a little later. This is something I've been wanting to do a piece on as well. Not gonna be that shouldn't be too killing long and whatnot. The issue that I have, I'm obviously coming back from the era that I come from, as far as like coming up watching football and the violence of it and the intimidation of it, and they try to take that out of the game, obviously because of the CTE and the chronic traumatic encephalopathy and all that type of stuff there, head injuries and stuff. And I get it. You do what you got to do and stuff like that. Still taking a lot out of the game because you can still get hurt up in that, hitting your head and all this kind of stuff. But they need to fix this thing a little bit more. One of the things I've been saying about one of the rules that I don't agree with, and I haven't seen anybody actually address this, is the stiff arm. When a running back is running the ball and whatnot, when he's running the ball, he can, because he's an offensive player, he can take his hand and shove it in a defensive player's face to get him off of him. And of course, it's on ESPN. Oh, he mushed him. He did this. Look at how he did him. Look at how Beast Mode did this. Look at how Adrian Peterson did this guy or whatever. I sit up there and watched, Julio Jones sit up there and just mush a dude the other night and whatnot. But in that same game, or in the same, it can be in that same game. Guess what ends up happening? You'll have a defensive player rushing, and an offensive lineman is trying to get him, and then he shoves him up in the face, and that's illegal. That's illegal hands to the face. Well, what the hell is stiff arming? That is still shoving, taking your hand and shoving it in somebody's face, in their face mask. Okay? It's still shoving someone's face back, and that's still going to the head area. So, and they can do that on offense, but you can't do it on defense if you're trying to get a guy off of you or whatever the case may be. Why is it's okay for offensive players to do that and defensive players can't do that? You follow? That's something I want to talk about. I sit up there and saw Adrian Peterson. He did something just disrespectful, more or less. I think the Pac-Man Jones, he just shoved dude that in his face and just shoved, and it's no flag. But if a cornerback does that to a wide receiver, if he's coming up trying to tackle him and he comes up high and then he just like shoves him, he can't do that. That's illegal hand. You can't do that. But why is it illegal? I don't understand. I don't understand. Why can an offensive player do that, and why can an offensive player get away with that, and a defensive player can't get away with that? You know, that's something that has to be looked at because it's too ticky-tacky. Even for the offensive player now, that well, you can't duck your head. I'm like, well, you're taught not to run high. You know, you get balanced and whatnot. You get down low. That's what you do. You don't run high. But these guys are sitting up there. These guys sitting up there doing all the things that they call themselves doing. Like I say, it's contradicting, and they're not doing it all the way. They're doing bits and pieces instead of looking at it. And I've been saying this for a couple of years. But I'm like, how is it that you can shove me in the face as a running back or as a wide receiver, or anybody with the ball, but I can't shove you back in the face? You're shoving me to get me off of you. Well, I'm trying to get the quarterback. I'm trying to shove a lineman if I so happen to go in his face. Not that happens all the time, but sometimes it gets that way. The hands slip and they go up. Okay, then that happens. That shouldn't be a flag. And that's sometimes an accident. And sometimes it gets a little touchy. But that is intentionally done, a stiff arm. And everybody ooh and ahs about it, but that's okay. If you start throwing it on them, I say that's still going to the head. Is it not? Please, somebody explain that one to me. And what type of BS type of commentary they're going to come up with that. But that's another thing they need. If they're going to be fair about it. Now, if you're going to still sit up there with offense, that's what they're going to do. They'll have some bullshit ass excuse on how come and why an offensive player can do that. No. If you say he can do that, but you're saying now an offensive player can't lower his head and go head up like we used to say back in the day, he got to run up. He can't use his head. And I've been saying that too. I'm like, launch. So that means now if Walter Payton played, who was notorious for giving a form and that of putting his head down and launching himself to try to get over to make a play. How many people have you run into? He's launching. I thought launching, you don't supposed to launch. Even when a defensive player is launching and he know he probably can't, let's say, catch the quarterback running and he launches. Bruce Smith sometimes used to launch and you leave his feet sometimes. They would launch, and now that's you can't do that. You can't launch yourself. You can't leave your feet. Well, then a running back can't leave his feet because he's doing that. He can launch himself into my chest. That stuff happens all the time. But nobody says anything about that. So if y'all going to sit up that the NFL is going to call themselves cleaning it up, then clean the shit up all across the board. You can't just sit up there and just, okay, this right here. Oh, this right here. Oh, this right here. It's BS. So stiff arm needs to be taken out the game. If I can't, as a defensive player, if I can't go up and hit a joker in the face, not saying that I want to, sometimes it just happens that way, or it gets ticky-tacky in there, or if that's one of the reasons to get a joker off of me, then I should be able to do that. Because Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch, from the Walter Paytons to the all the great backs at one time or another, they will mush you. And there's nothing you can do. Or they can do that. But if a defensive player is on a rush and his head happens to go up in the dude's face, they're calling that saying he could went to his face. And sometimes it's a slip. But it's intentionally when a wide receiver or any offensive player who has a ball who's trying not to be tackled, and I'm trying to rush, I'm trying not to be blocked or get held. I can't do that, but they can do that. That's hypocrisy, and they need to change the rule. You're going to clean it up all across the board. Don't just clean up for offensive players. All right, we'll be back pretty soon.